The Elf and the Dormouse. In a quiet, green meadow where wildflowers danced in the breeze, a tiny elf wandered cheerfully. His clothes, stitched from petals and leaves, rustled softly as he explored. The sun had been warm and bright, but suddenly, dark clouds gathered above, and the sky rumbled with the promise of rain. The first drops fell, cool and fat, splashing onto his golden hair. The elf squeaked in surprise and hurried to find shelter. He spotted a sturdy, broad toadstool nearby, its cap wide and strong, and quickly scurried beneath it. As he ducked under, the elf found he was not alone. Snuggled into a warm, furry heap was a large dormouse, sound asleep. His whiskers twitched now and then, perhaps dreaming of sweet berries and clover. The elf stared, wide-eyed and unsure. He didn't want to disturb the slumbering creature, but the rain was falling harder now, drumming on the toadstool cap like tiny drumbeats. The elf shivered, his little body trembling with cold and fear. He glanced out at the meadow, which seemed so far and vast, with no other shelter in sight. He thought about running, but his feet felt frozen to the soft earth. What if he got soaked through? He was so small, what if he caught a chill? Suddenly, a clever idea sparked in his mind. His worried frown melted into a mischievous, wee smile. He reached up with all his strength and began to tug at the toadstool's stem. He tugged and pulled, his tiny arms trembling, until, with a soft pop, the toadstool toppled free. The elf laughed with delight. He hoisted the toadstool cap over his head, holding it like a shield. It was light, much lighter than he expected. Feeling bold and proud, he darted off across the meadow, his new toadstool umbrella keeping him perfectly dry. The rain splattered around him, but not a single drop touched his head. At last, he reached the hollow tree that was his cozy home. He slipped inside, warm and safe, his heart still racing from his daring escape. He hung the toadstool cap upside down by his door, where it dripped gently. He was quite certain it would make a fine roof if the rain returned. Back in the meadow, the dormouse stirred. He stretched and yawned, blinking sleepily at the grey, rainy world around him. His whiskers quivered in confusion. "Good gracious me," he squeaked, his voice high and worried. He blinked again, looking this way and that. "Where's my toadstool?" He searched and searched, but the toadstool was gone. He sighed, puzzled and a little sad, but soon wandered off to find another cozy spot for a nap. And so, they say, that is how umbrellas were first invented, all thanks to a clever, wee elf and one very confused dormouse.